Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're mapping out George Orwell's chilling masterpiece, 1984. And to really grasp the heavy, terrifying warnings he lays out about totalitarianism, we're using this hand-drawn, visual notebook approach. It's kind of like looking over a student's shoulder as they decode one of the most important and, honestly mind-bending novels of the 20th century. We're going to structure this exploration into a three-act tragedy, which completely mirrors our main character Winston Smith's own journey. Act 1, the awakening. Act 2, the rebellion. And finally, Act 3, the surrender. All right, let's jump right into Part 1, the awakening, which is all about the mind. So we meet our protagonist, Winston Smith, right as he commits the ultimate, absolutely unforgivable offense in his world. He writes in a secret diary. His suppressed hatred just pours out over and over as he writes, "Down with Big Brother." Now, to really understand why he is so terrified of getting caught, you have to look at his neighbor, Mrs. Parsons. In the nation of Oceania, 9-year-old kids are literally armed, vicious spies for the government. Her young boy points a toy pistol right at Winston, viciously calling him a thought criminal and a Eurasian spy. I mean, there is literally nowhere to hide, not even next door. And this really highlights the utter lack of humanity in Winston's day-to-day life, especially when he compares it to the tragic memories of his own mother. He realizes she died out of a private, unalterable loyalty, a feeling that's just entirely impossible in his current world of constant fear and pain. But what does Winston actually do all day? Well, he works at the Ministry of Truth, continuously rewriting historical records to match the party's current agenda. He literally erases people from existence. He even completely invents a fictional war hero from scratch, this Comrade Ogilvy guy, just to replace the record of a disgraced, vaporized party member. History here is entirely fluid. Now, one of the most insidious concepts in Oceania has to be newspeak. Winston has lunch with this guy Syme, an expert compiling the Newspeak dictionary, who actually enjoys destroying language. So here's the crucial point. Newspeak isn't about adding words to express new ideas. No, it's about destroying them. As our definition here points out, the ultimate goal is to reduce vocabulary so drastically that a heretical thought becomes literally unthinkable. If you don't have the words to articulate rebellion, you just cannot rebel. The party is shrinking human consciousness itself. Starved of any real human connection, Winston is incredibly isolated. See, the party is dedicated to eradicating sexual pleasure entirely. Winston actually remembers his estranged wife, Catherine, who rigidly viewed sex purely as a slightly disgusting duty to the party just to produce children. So, desperate for any real truth, Winston theorizes that hope has to lie with the proletarian masses, the proles. Wandering through their district, he visits an antique shop and buys this glass paperweight with a piece of coral inside. He is totally captivated by its useless beauty and the fact that it's a tangible, unmanipulated connection to a forgotten era. Okay, let's move into Part 2, the rebellion. And this is all about the body. So that mental awakening we just talked about, it quickly builds into secret defiance and physical action. Out of nowhere, a dark-haired girl from the fiction department slips Winston a secret note in the hallway. He unfolds this tiny scrap of paper and is just stunned to read 3 incredibly dangerous words. "I love you." This simple note kicks off a passionate affair. They meet secretly in a woodland clearing, but for Winston, this isn't just some romance. He actually declares, "I hate purity. I want everyone to be corrupt to the bones." He views their sexual intimacy as a direct, corrupting political blow against the party's rigid control. Julia, that's the girl, explains that the party's strict puritanism deliberately induces a pent-up hysteria, which they then actively channel into war fever and blind leader worship. Taking this rebellion a massive step further, Winston rents a secret room above Mr. Charrington's junk shop to act as a hidden sanctuary. Julia brings in these incredible black market luxuries from the inner party. Real coffee, real sugar. And in this room, she rebels against the party's strict gray uniformity by putting on makeup and perfume, simply wanting to be a woman, not just a party comrade. For Winston, this room is absolutely invaluable. He views it as a pocket of the past, where extinct animals could walk. It's this tiny, fragile little bubble of humanity. But of course, they want to do more than just hide. A powerful inter-party member named O'Brien approaches Winston, pretending to lend him a new dictionary. Winston instantly interprets this as the inevitable first step into a massive, secret conspiracy. Believing they finally found a high-level ally, Winston and Julia visit O'Brien's apartment and formally join the secret brotherhood. They are so desperate to bring down the system that they explicitly pledge to commit murder, sabotage, and even suicide for the cause. Though, interestingly enough, Julia flat out refuses O'Brien's suggestion that she and Winston separate forever. Their bond is their ultimate truth. And this brings us to a terrifying turning point. During Hate Week, the party's global enemy suddenly shifts from Eurasia to Eastasia. The speaker literally changes the enemy mid-sentence, and the crowd, who are completely brainwashed, instantly tears down all the wrong posters, believing it's enemy sabotage. Winston has to work exhausting hours just to rewrite years of history to match this sudden flip. But eventually, he and Julia retreat to their sanctuary to read a forbidden book by the rebel leader Goldstein. But the sanctuary is a trap. A hidden telescreen behind a picture on the wall suddenly speaks to them. The room is raided, and horrifyingly, that kind shop owner, Mr. Charrington, he's revealed to be a ruthless undercover member of the Thought Police. Which leads us into part 3, the surrender. We've seen Winston's mind awaken and his body rebel. Now we have to witness the systematic, brutal destruction of his soul. He is imprisoned in the nightmarish ministry of love. And remember his neighbor Parsons, whose kids we talked about earlier? Parsons is in there too, locked up for sleep-talking against Big Brother. And chillingly, he's actually perversely proud that his own 7-year-old daughter is the one who turned him in. I mean, that is the terrifying power of the party. But the real horror begins with O'Brien, who, as it turns out, is not a rebel at all, but Winston's chief torturer. O'Brien uses a pain dial to systematically break Winston down, forcing him to accept the party's fluid reality, known as doublethink. He literally tortures Winston until he doesn't just say there are 5 fingers instead of 4, he genuinely sees 5 fingers. O'Brien is proving that reality exists only inside the mind of the party. So the whole crux of the party's motivation is revealed by O'Brien in this chilling, unforgettable quote. They don't just want passive obedience. They don't just want to stop you from rebelling. They want absolute, endless power over human suffering. As O'Brien plainly states, if you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. It's power, entirely for the pure sake of power. Following that horrific revelation, O'Brien forces Winston to look at his own ruined, starved body in a mirror. It's a total, devastating humiliation of his physical form. Over time, Winston's body does physically heal in his cell, and he tries to train his mind to fully surrender. But then he accidentally cries out Julia's name in his sleep. This proves to him that his inner heart still hates the party. So Winston comes up with a final strategy. He wants to keep his hatred hidden deep, deep inside, locked away until the exact moment of his execution. He concludes that to die hating them, well, that was freedom. But the party knows absolutely everything. They take him to the dreaded Room 101. Now, Room 101 contains the worst thing in the world, tailored specifically to each individual prisoner. For Winston, his ultimate paralyzing phobia is rats. As a cage of starving rats is pushed relentlessly against his face, Winston completely breaks. He screams, "Do it to Julia, not me." By sacrificing the one person he truly loved just to save himself, he breaks his final vow. His soul is shattered. The party didn't just make him confess, they made him stop loving her. We finally find Winston sitting in the Chestnut Tree Cafe. He's just a broken man, mindlessly solving chess problems and drinking victory gin. He reflects on a brief, totally hollow reunion he had with Julia after they were both released. During that cold encounter, they both admitted their complete self-serving betrayal of one another. The love is dead, the loyalty is gone. They are just empty shells left behind by the ministry of love. And this culminates in the most tragic climax possible. Sitting there in the cafe, listening to a victory broadcast coming from the telescreen, Winston looks up at a portrait of Big Brother with gin-scented tears running down his face. The struggle is completely over. The rebellion is dead. The final line of the novel rings out. He loved Big Brother. His mind and his soul belong entirely to the party. As you process this stark, visual notebook of Orwell's terrifying world, I really want to leave you with a question to ponder. When language itself is restricted and history is constantly manipulated by those in power, how fragile is our hold on the truth? Can truth and memory ever truly be erased, or is human resistance always, somehow, possible? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.